Thank you and welcome once again. Today we have a great panel with us of women of all ages who have accomplished a lot in the area of ICTs, and they are actually working in the area of ICTs to make, some of us are working in international organizations, others have set up their own businesses as entrepreneurs in the private sector, in the civil society, and also we have some students with us who have made, actually made timely innovations even during COVID.
Our next speaker is Dr. Teresa Cardoso from the Open University, Portugal. With a PhD in didactics and educational technology, you focus your research on open education and ICT in educational contexts. Could you tell us what made you follow this line of work? What were your sources of inspiration? And from your experience, what tips would you give to young girls watching us today to encourage them to consider a career in STEM and to embrace ICTs as a catalyst for change?
Thank you. A warm greeting to all. Thank you for the invitation. It's really an honor to be part of this great panel with such inspirational projects and actions. I will pick up on some of the points that the previous colleagues have mentioned. I will start with the dream. You've also mentioned that, Karen. And I will speak of my experience as a girl and now woman, a mother of two daughters. So going back to my days as a young girl, I would say that my inspiration probably were my parents, my mother and my father, who gave me the opportunity to further develop my natural desire for curiosity, for looking and searching to get to know better and to be, like the Greek philosopher, citizen of the world. And that for sure ICT can foster. And so I remember my big summer holidays. I used to go to some short programs provided by the youth institutions here in Portugal. And so I was also eager to search and to learn from all. Nowadays, as a professor at the Open University, ICT allows me to get connected to all my students around the world. For instance, this semester I'm having students from Brazil, Timor, Portugal, of course, and maybe I can state or I can share with you two short stories. For instance, I was a supervisor in a master degree of a teacher, a woman teacher, working in the Azores archipel, and she lives in a very, very small, I think it's the tiniest island of the Azores. And for instance, so you can imagine the isolation if there were no ICTs. There is not a bookshop in there. There is not a service where she could print her master thesis. And so the Open University has helped us improve and progress with her training. And I think that's a really important aspect that the ICT enables us to look forward and search further for our training. Another important thing that Catherine just mentioned, the mentoring program. I think it's important to focus and to be willing to learn also, not only meet, talk, play, and pursue our dreams through ICT, but also learn. So as a person, a woman working in the educational field and using ICT and also training in ICT, I would say mentorship is really important because you can have the learning communities. And so people sharing similar interests, similar needs are more will really support each other and go to the point. And so this training and then this mentorship brought me back to my days of youth, when I was in pen pal program. And so this pen pal be now updated with the ICTs, and there's, for instance, if we are learning foreign languages, we can use a lot of apps. We can be using also the e-tandem, so we can also find a partner. And so there are multiple options, and as Janet just mentioned, unfortunately, we know that the access is not provided yet to all. And so ultimately that's a thing to look for in the future, and hopefully to warrant this. But of course, there are things that can run offline, as she mentioned as well, Wikipedia, and also the Khan Academy. And so that's how I figure out that that's also the importance of working with open educational resources that are available in those online platforms that can also work and run offline. Maybe this, as Luani said, it's important with regard to the mentorship, the small baby steps that can create and foster a huge but real difference. I will just finalize with another sharing another story. When I was giving training with ICT education in a course in ICT in education, I had a student, a mother of a young daughter teenager, who was working with the PowerPoint for school activities, school tasks. And the mother was not keen on working, and she had never used PowerPoint. So as I challenged my students to use ICT, she witnessed and she shared with the whole group that it was an amazing task because she could do it with her daughter. So I think we can all be flourishing and looking for this tiny but huge and having a real impact on women's life and making the world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Teresa. And I think you highlighted a very important point of distance learning and open learning, because this has been truly empowering for so many young girls and women all over the world. I for sure know that the Indian University of Open Learning and Distance Learning has empowered so many girls to continue their education, because often girls are not sent out of villages to pursue their higher education. So thank you for bringing this important point into the conversation.